Hello and welcome back to Boopolo channel. My name is Pascal. Today I am going to do a review of a stainless steel French press by Gator. Gator made this one because it's double walled. In other words, it's vacuum layered. I will take the top off it and show you. As you see here, it's double layered, so it's called vacuum layered. So there's a vacuum between here and here. So of course that will keep the coffee much hotter. I'm going to make some coffee for you, and I'm not going to break all the rules. I'm going to do it different than what the traditional way we were told to do it with, with very coarse coffee. No, I don't make it with coarse coffee. I make it with the same as drip coffee, so it would be medium. And we are going to make a really good French press. You need to grind your own coffee. You can't just go and buy coffee, and you need to have good coffee and good water. The water should be filtered. So this is a 34 ounce. 34 ounces is about 1 liter. We're going to boil up our water, and then we're going to let it cool down to about 195 to 205 Fahrenheit, which is about 90 to 96 Celsius. That would be the ideal temperature for making coffee. Then what we need to do then after that, we need to decide the ratio of coffee to water. So the ratio I'm going to give you for this one is I'm going to put 22 fluid ounces in, which is about 650 milliliters of water, versus we'll put in 1.5 ounces of coffee, which is about 42 grams. We will measure out the coffee. It comes with this for beans. Now this looks cute and nice and all that, but it doesn't hold, it only holds about 35 grams of beans or something like that, which would not be enough for my coffee for this. I also forgot to add that on the top of this, you can turn this part here, there's an arrow, and when the arrow is pointed towards the spout, that means it's ready for pouring. When you have it around here, you turn it around, it's sealing here. So that means you're keeping the coffee hotter. And then when you're ready to pour it, you have the arrow. You may forget to do that while you're doing this. But the way I'm making the coffee today, I'm not going to leave it for an hour to drink it, because we're going to drink it straight away. So what we do then is we're going to set your scales. You set it on tare, and I'm going to do it in grams. You can do it in ounces, 1.5. Sorry, I'm going to put in 42 grams, and I'm going to let you see how much 42 grams in. It's a good bit of coffee, and this coffee is rather expensive. I get it delivered here every few weeks. So that's the amount of coffee beans in 42. So in 1.5 ounces of coffee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my grinder here, and I'm going to set the grinder much higher than I do from my espresso, of course, much coarser I should say. I'm going to do it about 3.0. No, I'm going to do it 2.9. I'll do it 2.9 and see how we get on. Now, electric grinder is probably better than this, or you can put an electric drill on the end. I'm not going to do it with this expensive one, but you can buy a smaller one. The grind is important, but I'll be able to do this in 2 lots. Because we're not grinding so fine, it won't take that long. Yeah, that didn't take very long. When it's ground, it takes up a lot more room, and this cup is barely big enough for it. So just let you know how much is in it. So it's nearly this cup full here, and that's more than a cup. That's like a cup. That's a full teacup. Okay. So now we have our coffee, and it's ground medium. Maybe medium to coarse. It's ground medium, right? So that would not fit into this. So what you would do then is most people will heat up these. Now what I do is I take this out completely. I don't need this for a while. Inside in this, it gives you a maximum. It's showing you the maximum that you can do this. When you are making French press, especially with a glass one, you will heat it first. But we will do it with this one. We'll just do the same procedure. I have boiled up water here. It's probably going to be too hot at the moment for the coffee. I may let it cool down a little bit. I will check the temperature of it. I'm going to open that there, so it'll take. I'm going to heat the inside of this. Now I'm going to check the temperature here. The temperature of the water we're trying to go for is 200 Fahrenheit, right? That's what we're aiming for, right? And we'll get somewhere around there, right? See, I'm still boiling. I'm at I'm 97 Celsius. I'm going on Celsius. So I'm 206. I'm going to let it cool another little bit. You get the ideal one that you want, and then you will stick to them measurements rather than guessing every time. So if you get the most perfect one that you want, you have all your measurements. That is why we weigh everything. So I'm going to put this up on the scales, and I'm going to press the tare button, and it's going to go back to 0. And then I'm going to put I'm going to put the coffee in. I'm going to put the coffee in first. And as I'm doing that, the temperature here should come down 2 degrees or 3 degrees. So it's not taking pints. So now that I'm at 0, I'm going to check the water again. I'm at 93. 93 Celsius is 200 degrees, I think. It's 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are exactly in the middle of where we want to be. And I have this at 0. And I'm going to put 650 milliliters in. I'm going to put in 650 grams, which will be 650, which is 22 ounces. Let's go. So 650. Oh. I'm gone 660. I'm gone a little bit over there now, so I'm going to write that down that I went. Now, what do you do next? There you go. What we do next is we do nothing. We leave that for 4 minutes. So now it's 4 minutes since I put the water in. You're not going to like what I'm going to say next. But what we're going to do now is we're going to stir the top of it. We're just going to stir the coffee all comes up to the top. And we will stir the top of it. And when we stir the top of it like this, we will get some foam on the top. But what happens then is the coffee grinds that are up on the top are going to sink to the bottom. And by doing that, we make up a little bit of foam. Now, I'm going to take that out now. So I just stir it like that, just stir the top of it. You don't want to get grounds in your coffee cup. I'm going to take some of the fuzz off the top of it. Not at all. And we're just going to put it in here. This foam, we don't really want this. We should really leave it for a few minutes before we do that. But most of the grinds are gone down to the bottom now. The ones that were all stuck up on the top, that were floating, they are all sunk now because I gave it a stir. Now, what am I going to do next? So we're 5 minutes since I put the water in this now. So, what am I going to do now? I'm going to give you another 3 or 4 minutes. And what am I going to do? I'm just going to leave it there. So now, we have 9 minutes since I put the water in. 4 minutes. And taking it off, taking 1 minute and then 4 minutes again. And inside there is very, very little of anything on the top. So what I will do now, I will put the plunger in. And then I will push this down. But I am not going to plunge the coffee because that will bring the grounds out. I'm going to go down most of the way. If you have a glass one, it's easier to see this, but you will feel it. And when it starts getting a bit of pressure, you know you're going near the coffee. And you don't need to go down to the bottom of the coffee. But if you do that, you will disturb the coffee and then you will get grinds in it. Now, after spending that 9 minutes making French press coffee, you are going to be able to drink the best French press coffee you ever drank before, providing your coffee beans are good, the water temperature is, and if it's filtered water and correct water temperature, and you do this, you can adjust the temperature by 4 or 5 degrees if you want. It's not going to make that much difference, but you can adjust the strength of it, and it depends on what beans you have. If they are dark roasted, you probably will not grind them as fine as if they are blonde. So what I will do is I will drink some coffee now. I need to turn the arrow to the spout. Now, because that's going to keep that very hot in there, but I'm not going to be storing this coffee, and I am going to pour myself a coffee. Looking at the strength of it, it does not look overly strong. It looks like a nice coffee. A nice black coffee. Now, of course, you can put cream in this, or you can do whatever you like, but lots of people just like to drink their coffee neat, and I'm going to taste this now. I can see this is glass and there is no grounds in it. So, that is stronger than I thought it would be. That's a really, really nice coffee. The problem with this coffee now is still a little bit hot, because this thing, even though we had the lid off it, it was keeping the coffee really, really hot. So yeah, this is a nice coffee. I think the next one, it is not strong enough for me. This would be strong enough for most of my friends. I like my coffee a little bit stronger. I would probably put in maybe 45 grams, right? Maybe 1.6 ounces, something like that. So there you go. That's my rather long review of the Coffee Gator French press and how I make a French press coffee. On the instructions from Coffee Gator, they actually, I think, say 9 or 10 minutes, which is near enough what I'm doing. So, thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video or any of our other videos, please consider subscribing to this new channel.